Good morning. It's about 11 a.m. here in Tennessee. And boy, do I have some great kernel nugget of information for you today. Uh, During my sleep last night, I had a waking state dream of connectedness and interconnectedness. Now, in the dream world, a lot of things you can see imagery, but a lot of things are in symbolism, frequency, and vibration. And we often think that we hear or see what it is that we're seeing or hearing, but it's actually the vibration frequency that we're receiving the information of. And then it becomes encoded and then later decoded through our form of speech in our native tongue. Bilingual might translate it in different languages. But I was inspired to create a video, and I don't have any other. I've never created a coaching video on this, so everything's going to be raw, unfiltered, and unedited, and it's going to flow as it flows. But are you in for a treat? I'm hoping that it will click on some light bulbs out there and seeing how we're all really connected on a more in-depth level. This is going to pierce through surface level understanding of connectedness. So be prepared, okay? Grab you a cup of coffee, grab you a bottle of water if you need to. I do not know what the length of duration this is going to be, so if the video is getting too long, go ahead and take a break, grab a snack, get up and stretch, appreciate the day, okay? We're going to just go ahead and dive into it, all right? Connectedness. My working definition of connectedness is how we relate in a physical matter way. Whether it's people, places, things, animals, plants, you name it. Inanimate objects or things. Interconnected is the energy utilized to bridge that connection on a mind and emotional level. Okay? When we create or craft that connection, it's not just what we're seeing physically, it's what we're producing mentally and emotionally in that moment. Remember, everything happens in the now moment, nothing happens in the past moment, and everything in the future hasn't come yet, okay? But as we bridge that connection, mind, heart, physical, our energy aura, and then our energetic bubble. Our aura is closer to our body, whereas our energetic bubble is extended about 6 to 8 feet, and you can expand this bubble and you can also shrink this bubble, okay? A lot of times other people will come in vicinity of that bubble and produce their energy as well, okay? But take for a moment the collective connectedness. And when I say collective, I'm talking about you and everything in existence. Every person, place, thing, animal, plant, inanimate object, okay? It's all relative, and it all has a unique vibrational frequency and connectedness, okay? When I talk about strands, I'm talking about cosmic strands that produce from you to another. This cosmic strand, you send energy and vibration down as well. You send your thoughts, you send your emotions, you send your physical responses down that thread. And whomever's connected to that thread receives that signal input, much like a radio station tower, receiving input and then retransmitting. Okay, you are the radio tower, sending out signal and receiving signals. Okay, it's a continuous flow. Um, every thought of the day, every emotion of the day, every physical actionable thing that you do of the day is connected to this strand, and every one connected to that strand. Okay, and we'll go deeper into the connectedness, and I have drawn a couple of diagrams that I'm going to show you in just a moment, to give you a visual representation of the connectedness and interconnectedness that we all are. Okay, um, you constantly flow the energy, the vibration, the frequency, the state of being that you are in the moment. Okay, every second of the day is in the moment. Okay, this is why I encourage you to set an intention for your day and allow that intention to be the focal point of your day. How you treat people, how you use your words, how you receive input and information, seen from an objective view, a higher knowing and higher awareness, versus just a subjective view of what you are being presented with. A lot of times we are presented information in the format of another person to bring to our awareness what we hold within ourselves. Okay? Um, and this is direct and indirect ways. You could be watching a TV show, you could be listening to the radio, and you're receiving input, energy, vibration, frequency, data. You're receiving that input. Okay? And you're also giving, rendering information about that input that you are receiving, and you're encoding it and decoding it and putting it into a file cabinet. And sometimes you're doing this on the conscious level, subconscious level, and an unconscious level. Okay, you give and you receive. Okay, it's not just physically that you're giving and receiving. You're energetically exchanging what you give out and what you receive. What it is that you are giving out, do you want to receive that back? Think about that for a moment. If you're rendering a judgment on something, or someone, or a place, or thing, and you rendered a judgment, a biased opinion, or a limiting belief on that experience that has come into your life, and you send that energy out, are you wanting that same energy back to you? Or are you wanting a greater potential of energy to flow back to you? You don't send out because you want something. You send out because of what is already within you. Okay? We also receive input from external sources. Those external sources can help us grow internally, mindfully, emotionally. They can also help us grow in ways that we had never expected. Remember, I said to not be in the state of expectation, but to be open to the ebb and flow of experience that comes into your life, because something in that experience is teaching you, giving you a lesson for your greater potential to come to the surface and for your purpose in life to be magnified. Okay? You give and receive physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, energetically. Everything that you are within, you're feeding that soul thread, that connective thread of everything that you are within. Everything, every pseudo personality, every identity that you have donned to serve a certain point of time in your life experience, others are receiving that, and then they have the mirror capacity to reflect that back to you so that you can become aware of what is within you and how you can address it in a loving, conducive manner. Remember, we experience, we express, we release in a loving, conducive manner to ourselves and towards the outside environment, the external environment. Everything we do within is a reflection of our experience of the external environment. Okay? People, places, things fill roles, characters, to bring your greater potential to the surface, to bring an awareness to your surface that's actually probably standing in the way of something that you were hoping to overcome. Whether it's a limiting belief, whether it's a statement someone else said that you adopted as your own, whether it's a circumstance that you labeled and branded and gave an attachment to and put it in your file cabinet of storage. They bring to your awareness aspects of you. They are neither showing you good nor bad portions, but just showing you through them a reflection of what is within you so that you may address it. And if it's not meant to be part of you, if it's not in alignment with your true self and your actual higher truth, the truth that hasn't been conditioned, but you yourself at the core essence are, aspects of that will make you unwell. They may serve for a certain duration, whether it's security, whether it's comfort, whether it's acceptance, whether it's fitting into some kind of social role or social clique, but it no longer serves a purpose. You have moved beyond the purposes of needing that at that given time. You are now a new being, a new creation in a new day, in the now. When that identity that you hold has used its purpose and has been on the shelf of expired goods, it's time to release it. Because it's actually making you unwell, because it's not actually in alignment with your higher true self. Okay? I'm going to show a diagram real quick. Imagine your body being this center focus here. Okay? The inner ring is your aura. All right? The outer ring is your energetic bubble. Okay? And on each one of these branches of bubbles is what you are sending out into the universe, to a person, to something you think of, something you feel about, continuously. Okay? I'm going to go through some of them because these were actually highlighted in my dreamscape last night. All right? Sovereignty. This is where you show positive, just behavior, where you are in a position to provide a correctiveness to something but in a loving manner rather than in a judging manner. Okay? Um, Jester. This is the chameleon. All right? When you see a jester, you might see multiple different colors, um, dressed in a certain way. The jester is the chameleon of identities that you have absorbed and became part of you. And so every now and then one of those identities pop up, the way you speak, the way you perceive things, the way you act, the way your body responds, the micro expressions in your face, the body expressions, the way you feel about things is all tied to that identity that's in your file cabinet. Okay? The jester is the chameleon to fit in that serves a purpose for a given time. Okay? Warrior. This is the one. This isn't like battle, rattle, 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 where you are donning your equipment to go to war. Warrior spirit in you is the one who stands courageous against or enduring life circumstances of adversity, the discomforts, the unfavorable experiences. Because that warrior spirit knows that there is a potential in that experience to help you grow into the higher aspect that you are. Okay? Uh, Lover. This is the one who extends compassion, grace, mercy, patience, a sense of understanding, a sense of realization that everyone experiences life uniquely and is uniquely crafted in their path of walking. They face their own, for a proverbial term that each one of you might be able to identify with, they face their own hell. Okay? Sometimes people face a hell that we know nothing about. This is where your grace comes in at. This is where your compassion comes in at. Where you lend a little bit of your strength and courage to help them weather that storm. Okay? When you help yourself, you're helping other people. Okay? When you give out that higher help comes back to you. Okay? In whatever form it does. Thoughts. Thoughts are extending from you. Both the higher minded thoughts, the lower minded thoughts, the mindsets that you hold, mindfulness or absent-mindedness, which means you're just robotic, you're just operating on autopilot. Okay? This is also part of your conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. Okay? I will tell you that the subconscious and unconscious mind knows how to use your power to bring into your experience what it has recorded, to convince you of an illusory tale of what is and isn't. Because you have given it power by rendering a label or brand to an experience that might have been unfavorable or favorable. Okay? Beliefs. Beliefs are the things that you repeat over and over, or is repeated over and over to you, and at some point that seed got dropped in your soil and became a plant and grew into a nourishing flower or bush or tree, whichever analogy you would like to use. And those beliefs may not serve you for a particular purpose. They might have been someone else's beliefs that you adopted, but it doesn't resonate with your true higher self. Some of those beliefs we call limiting beliefs because they block our path of progress. They block our path of healing. They block our path of abundance, They block our path of financial security. They block our path of growth mindset, where we like to stay in what we think we know. Okay. Um, Speech, how you use your words. Every time you speak, you are using vibration, energy, frequency, and energetically tying all of that information to that word you are producing. And when you create a sentence of words, each word in that sentence has that same vibrational frequency and energy that you are producing, sending out into the world. Whether you're sending it out in front of a person, a mirror, um, nature, um, or you're talking to yourself. It is literally creating from your words an experience into your life path. All right. This is why I say be cautious of the words you use, because what you send out will come back in the same energetic vibration and frequency. Though the circumstance may differ, it will match the same energy, vibration, and frequency that you had sent out. Okay? You send out mentally, you send out emotionally, you send out physically, energetically. Okay? Emotions. What you are feeling at any given point of the day, you are sending out these on these vibrational cords, these connectedness to other people, places, things, animals, plants. If you were to walk in nature, go up to a tree, and render appreciation and gratitude for what a tree in its natural state does for your great benefit, you send love to that. Trees cleanse the air. They also transmute the energy in the air for us to breathe, to cleanse ourselves internally. Trees are a healing factor. Plants, there's a reason why they're green. Green is a significance of life. Life of green is also closely connected to your heart chakra. Not the upper heart chakra. The upper heart chakra is the pink color, which you can use a pink quartz for. That is your compassion, your sovereign love. Okay? State of being. Every second of the day, what state of being are you in? You are sending vibrationally and energetically, mentally and emotionally down these threads. Okay? Your likes and dislikes that you hold, what you resonate towards, what you create a dissonance away from, is being sent. Okay? Like draws to like. Even if you dislike something, when you dislike something, it can draw it into you because you hold something within you that attracts it like a magnet. Okay? Labels, branding, judgments, um, thinking less and devaluing another person because of an action or a performance that they have displayed that you were privy to be aware of through your optic nerve, your hearing, your smelling, and you receive that information. When you're in a subjective mindset, you're rendering judgment and reactiveness off of autopilot. When you're in an objective, higher mind state, you are just observing what's happening and you're asking yourself, what aspect of this is within me? Because I know that if I'm experiencing something out there, there is something within me that is contributing to the experience. This is where your awareness peaks higher. This is where your awareness grows greater. Okay? Um, and as you change and grow in your awareness, your mindsets, how you're responsive to people, how you um, behave in a certain capacity, your external environment will render the same change. The people that are connected to you, the places that are connected to you, the things that are connected to you, the animals and plants will also change as you change. Okay? Um, Connections can be made by physical. You can shake someone's hand. You can hug somebody. Um, you can place your hand on somebody in a non-combative way. Um, the art of laying on hands, which you'll probably find in some churches around the world, especially the evangelical churches, they'll place their hand either on your body or your third eye or your crown to assist you in that vibrational frequency for whatever that ailment that you are experiencing to be in alignment with your own healing capacity for the occurrence that you are experiencing. Okay? And it could be a lifetime experience. Um, you might have used medication to curb the symptoms. You might have gone through physical therapy. You might have gone to a physician. Um, you might be dealing mentally with things that no one else has any understanding from your point of view. The archetypes that you hold within you, the personifications that you have given labels and um, mannerisms to, the thought forms you have produced based off the lower vibrational frequencies that you've received input of. Okay? Um, you can establish a connection virtually, like I'm talking to you right now. I know the thread that is coming from me going through virtually is connecting to you already. I can see the thread that's already connecting, and I don't have to see you on camera to see your light, your spark of life shining through to reach me. I don't believe in distance. I don't believe in time. I don't believe in space in this factor. In this factor, it's irrelevant because I work on a higher uh, dimension that doesn't require it. The laws of nature and science in a third dimension do not apply to the higher dimension. It only applies to the third dimension. Just like the second dimension applications doesn't apply to the third dimension. It only applies to the second dimension. Same thing with the first dimension, okay? And so forth in each of the dimensions. Um, Phone call, email, text messages, correspondence. You don't have to be virtually there to send your energy to the person, whether it is on a phone call or it's in a text message or email or instant messaging, etc., etc. You can send your energetic vibration through a picture, a meme, a post, and anyone that sees that receives not just your words, but receives everything that you hold within you to them. Everything. Okay? Mental thought occurrence. You can create a mental connection with somebody from across the room. Holding that thought because your energy goes where your focus is going. If you were to hold that thought and perception of something in the room, it's receiving that energy, and in that energy you might have a response where the person might look back at you, because that energy is sending a vibration signal of an awareness of where it's coming from. You sitting in class and the teacher is teaching you or instructor is teaching you, and the energy and balance in the room has balanced itself out, but now a person either shows up late for class, comes back from using the restroom or whatever, or stepped out for a phone call, came back. It disrupts that balance that everyone in the room collectively had created, and now it requires resettling where that fluctuation is to balance back out. That is mentally occurring, that is emotionally occurring, that is physically occurring. Spiritually. When I say spiritually, I'm talking to your actual spirit body, your it's almost like a crystalline structure that has no carbon form, but is rather in a form that is, to some, probably too bright for them to even look at, that they have to look away. That is your higher self in astral form, that some of you may encounter when you do mindfulness meditation, when you go into your secret place. Your secret place is within. It's not a corner out there or a room externally. It's within your vehicle, within your clay jar. Your clay jar is your carbon body, okay? The spiritual occurrences that you connect could be things that you align with. They can also be things that you don't align with. You went to a place that was some kind of structured belief system that didn't resonate with you. You made a connection of not resonating with that thing, which told you that this probably isn't for you. Now, you could have stayed because you felt like, well, this is what I have to do. I need to fulfill this because this is expected of me. Not one shoe fits every person because every person is unique. Forget religion for a moment, okay? Act as if religion doesn't exist. Yeah, I said that. Act as if religion doesn't exist. Religion would not have been formed without physical interaction. But with that physical interaction, the state of mind, the state of being, the state of energy, the state of emotion, the state of thoughts are produced in all of that and recorded, passed down ages of time. Then you have people that are following devoutly to this structure but not making a connection to it, or they have some connections but something else in that isn't resonating. It's completely normal. It's completely normal because something in that aspect is part of a truth hidden in a veil. To see through that veil at that truth center, you gotta pierce. Okay? It's completely normal. Maybe you grew up in a temple. Maybe you grew up as a devout Buddhist or Indian culture, and maybe Native American. It's completely okay. Sometimes you are born into a family that has a culture that doesn't resonate with you. but you found a means of entry into the physical plane of existence for a life purpose. And you saw before you came that that was the best benefit and outcome of survival, to bring to the world your unique gift that only you can produce. Okay? Completely normal. So that's why I say at this moment, forget religion even exists. Forget a structured basis that tells you you need to behave a certain way, you need to act a certain way, you need to dress a certain way. All right? You come into this world without clothes on, yet the world immediately tries to clothe you in its design. That's why there's communities that are clothing optional, to remove the feeling of restrictiveness, the feeling of uh, closed off. Okay, the naturalness of. Completely understand that, and I don't even know why I got into that, but something in me flowed to make that connection that maybe someone has been dealing with in a less than loving way, that they just don't see the connection or a higher understanding of its purpose. Okay? So you connect with a handshake, you can connect with a physical gift. Um, if I took this item and I gave it to you, that is a physical connection coming to you, along with everything that's in me coming to you. Okay? That's why I say when you receive a gift, especially in physical format, do some kind of cleansing of it. Whether it's an energetic cleanse, whether it's incense, whether it's uh, energy from using your palms. You do not have to be attuned to Reiki to send energy from your palm chakras with a clear mind intention to cleanse, clear, and remove any negative. You don't want to remove all energy. You want to remove any negative energy attached to that thing, because that negative energy that came from that person, you will be absorbing into yourself. This is why we become mindful of what is given to us. You do not have to accept everything that comes to you. You have that choice. Okay, whether it's a physical gift, um, whether it's a thought or emotion that comes your way, um, whether it's a verbal set of expressions coming your way. Um, if it feels like an attack, place your block up. You don't have to physically place your hand up. Some people will see that physical hand going up as a combative way. But mentally, imagine your hand being put up, blocking that energy. You are accepting part of the information to bring to your awareness of a higher understanding without being reactive in the moment. Okay? Um, Psychically, someone can think ill-mannered thoughts of you just as much as you can think ill-mannered thoughts of someone else. And you send psychically that energy. Um, Psychically is closely connected to the spiritual thread body. So you're bypassing the physical body to their essence. And you are, if you are sending ill-mannered thoughts, also ill-mannered emotions, you are literally trying to taint their core essence. You won't really actually be able to do so because there's a protective barrier by the spark of life, the source of life that animates your body. In some capacity, it protects to a certain degree, even when you allow something come in. Okay, in the state of allowing, or accepting, or receiving. Okay, and you can, and this is intentionally and unintentionally. Okay, you can intentionally send it, whether it's subconsciously, consciously, or unconsciously, and you can unintentionally. You ever meet anyone that said, I didn't intend to do that? Some aspect of themselves, whether it was subconsciously or unconsciously, had the intention to be able to produce that. And then to, because they noticed what their projection did, they tried to remedy it by creating the excuse of, I was not intentionally trying to do that. Don't hold it against them. Their knowledge and awareness may not be at that pinnacle to where they are aware of what they do. Um, Imagine state and visualization state. This is for yourself and other people. How you imagine that person, how you visualize that person behaving, can influence how that person behaves and acts and presents themselves to the day. Um, I have another diagram. All of this is all of this has been crafted from today. I have never done this video or a coaching class on this at all. So everything that has come is brand new, and it's going to definitely be information for myself as well. Um, just even though I dreamt it, and I don't believe in coincidences, but I believe in synchronicities. Coincidences are things that occur unexplainably. Um, Synchronicities occur explainably. So synchronicities is the thing occurs because we are aware of the intention of our thoughts, our emotions, and our body aligning in harmony, in one accord, to produce the. You ever desire something and it didn't come when you wanted it to, but something of that aspect came at a later time? It wasn't that your desire wasn't answered, but you were stuck in the idea that it had to come now because of the conditioning of instant gratification. Instant gratification, let's jump in that for a moment. You want something in the moment. Cool, no problem. Are you wanting it in the moment to temporarily satisfy something and then no longer happy after that satisfaction has worn off? That's how you know it's a temporary satisfaction versus a long-term satisfaction. Okay? Um, if you are receiving something in that moment and you are cloud nine or higher vibration, and then all of a sudden your thoughts jump to something else, monkey mind, and it brings you back down to a lower vibration of something that's been unresolved in your external environment, and you bring that information to somebody that was part of or conducive to bringing you in that temporary satisfaction. You have now devalued the in the moment satisfaction and replaced it with another thing that's been unsatisfied. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. When we are mindful of our actions and the way we treat people in our lives, harmony rises. When we treat people as tools or serve for us rather than to be with us in partnership of something, there's a different mindset, a different vibration, a different frequency that you tap into. Mindfulness is very key in how you interact with people, whether it's your immediate environment or external environment of extended branches of your family tree. Remember, family tree is the family that you were born into and the family that you choose to come into your tree. Okay? And those roots that are going down extends to every other family tree, yeah, that's right, of all the connections you have ever made, and keeps going. So what you do here, someone else is affected across distance, time, and space. Yes. To bring you to a clearer understanding of that, I have drawn a schematic to put it into a visual perspective, okay? I do draw better, but I'm not going to excuse how I draw. As I said, a lot of this was automatic writing or influence writing, so you're going to get what you get. In this, you are the center body, okay? This is your aura. Remember all that stuff that we said we carry with us on the other diagram? This is your aura. This is your extended energy field. Notice how it looks kind of like an iris or an eyeball? You can also look at it as like a sun. Your light within your eye is shining energetically to all of these other connections you have made intentionally or unintentionally, okay? The extended branches, so what you have given out to these persons and your immediate connections, you have now given that everything that you are energetically with that you hold within, both conducive and non-conducive to your health and well-being, has now been sent to these other persons. And from those other persons, they send that same energetic frequency they receive from you, from other people, places, things, animals, plants, environment, you name it. So they take yours on compound to those others, and they send it out too. So your energetic thread is still connecting. This is why they call it the collective connectedness and interconnectedness, because you are connected to every single thing in existence. You're just not mindfully aware of it because it's not physically in front of you. But you're extending. Every time, and you might find this more prevalent with twins, where they can be, one can be over here in this state, and another one can be over this state, and the one over here is in an imbalance of either mind, body, or heart, and the one over here will pick up that energetic resonance and display symptomatically what that one is feeling. You don't have to be twins for this to occur. Twins are the closest variable of a scientific approach to see this occur. That space in between that people rendered not valid is so valid. We just don't pay much mind or attention to it, thinking that there's nothing there. But there's always something there. Yeah. So your frequency, your energy, your vibration, your mind, your thoughts, your behavioral patterns, your actions, the words you produce, is getting sent out worldly. Mentally, psychically, emotionally, physically, energetically. Continuous. The struggles and challenges you face, people will receive an aspect of that and they will endure an aspect of your struggle or challenge in their own life because you have sent an aspect of energy from that down your threads of connections. You ever get a call out of the blue when you were thinking about somebody, and all of a sudden either you got a text message, you got a phone call, an email, or some kind of physical correspondence after having that thought, and you felt of that person a certain way? A physical manifestation aligned with mind heart coherence had occurred because you are energetically connected to that person beyond time, space, and distance. Yeah. Yeah. It's all felt physically and metaphysically throughout every single dimension. And when I say dimension, imagine first dimension as a dot on a piece of paper, and you are the conscious observer looking down. You see a dot, but the dot does not see up. The dot does not see out. The dot does not see left, right. The dot is just the dot. Okay? Now we could probably go into that dimension mentally with an awareness as we psychically or mindfully travel to that dimension. But it will probably render a different perspective that might be confounding to what you actually understand reality currently to be as. Okay? Yes, everything in life will challenge you to make you think of what you think reality actually is. Second dimension. Second dimension is like this. Okay? Two sides. Bottom, top, left, right. Alright? So you can see above or below. You can see it on the left or the right. Right? That is two dimension. Meaning there are two sides to that in that dimension. Let's call it duality. You have two eyes, two hands. Well, most of the time you are born with two eyes, two hands, two ears, two nostrils. Okay? Upper and lower sets of teeth. Two arms, two legs. Duality. Duality is the balance of what it is that you perceive. Okay? Light and dark. Feminine, masculine. The Tao of energy. Chi. Prana. Reiki. In some religious cultures, they call it higher or Holy Spirit, or the breath of God. Call it what you will. That it makes a connection of understanding. Okay, not a connection of defensiveness. Not because you are defending what you believe, but because you are reactive to information input without actually giving it a higher thought. Okay? Third dimension. Alright? That's the physical plane that our physical body is experiencing. And experiencing everything in a third dimension. Alright? Fourth dimension. Time, space, distance. This is where we draw from fourth dimension into third dimension the aspect of time, the aspect of distance, the aspect of space. Okay. Fourth dimension, jump into fifth dimension. Fifth dimension is just above conscious awareness, where you see at a higher perspective of a bigger picture, where your carnal body is not in control of what you are observing. Then you accelerate into sixth dimension. Fifth dimension and sixth dimension kind of closely share dreamscape, dream weaving, interdimensional travel, uh, dreaming and seeing in a different scape, close reality. You can also access different potentialities of yourself fulfilling different roles, and you can download that information. If you get really good at meditating and jumping through the scape, you can download the information in your body, your mind, your heart. Already imagined it. The physical component will always catch up in some capacity. Whether you have to take lessons, or whether you want to be an author, songwriter, musician, dancer, instructor, you name it, doesn't matter. You can access the fifth and sixth dimension of alternate pathways, alternate realities that you have already lived the experience of, and draw into your current experience. Yes, that's how we can connect in a higher dimension, psychically, mentally, emotionally. In our physical body in the third dimension responds. Notice how time, distance, and space is fourth dimension, but our bodies respond to stress stimuli and concurrence of identification, labeling, and branding of the aspect of time and the expediency of one point to the other point and how long it might take. When you don't think about it, it's like time stood still. Or, that's right, didn't exist to begin with. But we made it exist by bringing it into the third dimension. And now people are stressed by showing up to work on time, meeting someone else's expectation of a deadline, deciding whether they're going to go do something or not because of how far it is, in that space in between, completely oblivious to the importance of it. Yeah. But what are you sending out? Down your threads. What do you want to send out down your threads? Remember, what you send out, you will return to yourself in experience form. Do you want to send out love so you can experience love back? Do you want to send out kindness and acts of kind, forgiveness, compassion, so you can receive that back? Do you want to send out anger, frustration, disappointment, insecurity, a limiting belief, so that your experience in your life that's coming to you as you attract that which you are within yourself, do you want to experience that in your hamster wheel and keep experiencing it? You have the choice of what you want to experience. What you hold on to, what attachments you have the power to remove the attachments. You're not removing the aspect of a person that's in your life. You're removing the label and brand of the attachment you had given to that person, place, thing, animal, or plant, or inanimate object. Okay? Every judgment, every limited belief that you send out, you're going to experience. It's going to come back to you in some way, in some form, and very seldom does it go out and come back in the same identifiable physical form, but it will always come back in the same energetic, vibrational, and frequency form. If you're seeing out in the world stuff that you don't like, something in the world is showing you an aspect of what you hold within yourself. And if you want the external world that you experience to change, your internal world that you hold within, and all of the beliefs, all of the ideas, all the labels, all the brands, all the emotions, all the thoughts, physical responses, consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously held reservations has to change within. You will not experience a change out there without first changing something within you. Whether it's an openness to newness, whether it's jumping into the unknown, the unfamiliarity. But in order to experience something new, something old has to be released. So that limiting belief or that thought structure, that label, that brand that you hold in your file cabinet, that's still there, that keeps popping up in different ways, but still has the same vibration, same frequency, same signature of energy, keeps popping up. It's something telling you in your awareness that this is within you that requires some type of change, addressing, expressing, and releasing in a conducive, loving manner. Conducive, loving manner is I appreciate the experience, although I did not feel great in the moment. I appreciate the experience and I give thanks because I know ultimately is for my higher good. This is you taking action and transmuting the experience into higher vibration. Okay? This doesn't mean it rewrites the experience that you had. It now rewrites the attachment you had to the experience of where you rendered it either favorable or unfavorable, and moved it into a higher vibrational frequency for greater potential to occur in your growing mindset and the growing mindset of other people around you, and the extended connected threads, soul threads of directly and indirectly connected and interconnectedness. Okay? Gandhi said, if you want to see a change in the world, you must be the change. And I know there's abbreviated versions of that, but I'm going to use that because that's what was in my dreamscape. Everything I'm writing is what was presented to me in my dreamscape. Okay? I know it's going on about an hour and 3 minutes. I do apologize for the lengthiness of this. Like I said, this is raw, unfiltered, unedited. If you need to take a break, use the restroom, grab a drink of water, grab a snack, by all means, take a break, come back to it. Okay? There's just so much that I have to give to you, and if I don't share it now, I don't want to run into the possibility or potentiality of it disappearing. Okay? It came mentally and emotionally, and I am aligning in actionable physical steps in the physical world to present it to you and to myself. Okay? The change has to begin within you. Connections will always occur with people that have come in your life and have transitioned out of your life in one manner or another, to new people coming in to your life. Sometimes we get hung up on the identity and the attachment of the carbon copy of a person that had entered our life for a duration, and we're unable to let go of the whys, the the attachments of arguments you might have had, the celebrations you might have experienced, and all of those are connected to that. But we sometimes get narrow focused where we derive the most important aspect of the physical body and forget that the internal body still exists. Okay? This can happen with people who are very attached to somebody or unresolved conflict of whatever occurrence may have occurred, and they have transitioned from the third dimension plane. Their body has left because it's a physical aspect of them has to remain in the third dimension, whether it's burial, burning through a mortuary or a Viking burial, on a raft, on the water, set ablaze. Some cultures believe that as you burn the body itself, that the soul resonance has transitioned out of, that aspects of its pieces go up into the universe and filter the world through expansion for comfort and release of the attachment of the physical aspect of that person. Okay? I'm not saying you have to believe that way. I'm just saying that that's one example. Some cultures would mourn for about 3 days. They had some beliefs that a soul body would be around a body for those 3 days before it moved on. I am not going to give precedence on that. I don't want you to form a belief on something that I say in that aspect, because everything I give you is tools and resources for you to discover your own path in your own understanding, in your true belief that you hold within you, to chip away from the beliefs that aren't part of you, but you adopted. Okay? Mindful awareness of consciousness is that of choice and action. Deliberate choice, deliberate action, deliberate intention. Okay? Unintentionally is subconsciously of interaction, circumstances, things that you perceive, render a thought judgment or an emotional judgment towards the thing that you are viewing, whether directly or indirectly. Unaware is the unconsciousness of thoughts, emotions, vibrational, energetic signatures, and frequencies that you are producing of the experience, just completely unaware of. These are sometimes aspects to help us grow, where other times we have underlying things that we absorb, we just have no awareness of, that's in our unconscious mind. Those are the things that come to our awareness to help us grow through the dirt. And rise to a greater aspect of ourselves. Okay. Egoic identities are created from stimuli that you experience. Up to a certain age, you don't have an ego. You don't have these identities. You were probably a child talking to imaginary friends, seeing the world as it actually was, but someone of adult matter said to put that away, or that's not real, don't focus on that, and wanted you to focus on third dimension understanding and socially acceptable capacities. And you didn't lose it, you just hid it in a corner within yourself. And in that corner, you buried it with stuff that would keep it at a distance to where it wouldn't pop up. But at some point in the aspect of your unconscious, your subconscious and conscious mind, it pops up in some capacity to bring it to your awareness, to reconnect you to your actual true self. About 5 or 6, when we enter into the school age and we're supposed to be classically operating in the societally acceptable range, we start taking on conditioning. We start taking on ideas. We start taking on beliefs. We start taking on what is and what isn't. And that becomes our paradigm of living throughout life. And all of that we hold within us, we're extending through our energetic threads and cords as we walk this path. And every connection we make, every interaction, every thought, every emotion, every circumstance and occurrence that comes into our experience in life has that embedded encoding and decoding information that's constantly being fueled in the world, in the external world environment. It is believed in some cultures and some religious circles that if two or more people are gathered with like-mindedness, there is a powerful connection that occurs at a unconscious awareness state, which is basically we are not aware of it occurring, but it occurs in agreement. That agreement is we are all asking for this thing to occur or exist, or whether it's healing, whether it's socio-political, whether it's economic, whether it's occurrences happening in the world that we see a potential for change to happen or occur, but isn't happening because some aspect of that within us hasn't changed. Maybe we have a warring mind or a warring heart that's within us that's being produced externally, and now 1,000 other people might be having the same thoughts, same emotions, same vibration and energy, all producing out their threads. And now it becomes a global occurrence. You are not a small, insignificant person. You are a participant and contributor to the experiences of everyone in the third dimension. Not saying that you are responsible or at fault for the calamities that occur or the degradation and the devaluing of human life in the circumstances that it was fashioned in, but at some form within yourself and the form within other people that had that collective thought, emotion, limiting belief contributed to the factor in some aspect. Not saying that you are at fault or at blame or this is to give you guilt or shame. This is to bring you into awareness to be mindful of what it is that you are producing out of you. Okay? Being negligent of your actions, your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, your speech, your words is not an excuse for acting however you feel like you should, because it's how you've always acted. Okay? The same thinking that created a problem externally will not be the same thinking that fixes the problem externally, because the thought occurred within before it was external. So to fix, you have to think higher thoughts internally for it to be an external factor. Okay? But the egoic identities are created from the stimuli experiences, both direct and indirect connections that we make. They serve their purposes for a short duration, for whatever purpose that might be. We created a label to it, we created an identity to it, a brand to it, stored it into our file cabinet, forgot about it. Part of that aspect is within us that is producing an effect in the physical world. Okay? and we are experiencing it in some capacity. Because we have a thread of attachment to that thing. But if we have that attachment within us, and it's not conducive to our wellness or well-being, and it's not in alignment with our higher true selves, there can be complications. There can be mental imbalances, emotional imbalances, physical ailments, because of that stimuli that we hold within us, that was first a thought, an emotion, that derived into a cell structure, an atom into a cell, and that cell reproduced itself after nourishing and nourishing and nourishing into an ailment that has got to a point of out of control, that now you're seeing a doctor, a therapist, a physical therapist, a dentist, or any other remedying for how your physical body is producing its symptom of an imbalanced root cause. Chameleon cells. I brought up the jester as the chameleon. Chameleon is the identities that we don to serve us for a certain point of time, certain purpose. Whatever that purpose was in that point in time, sometimes we forget all the identities that we had fit into a role of, so that maybe we were appreciated, maybe we were accepted, maybe we didn't feel heard at home, or felt like the home lifestyle wasn't receiving us for existing, and we found existence and acceptability in a different format, and we filled an identity that allowed us to feel accepted to a certain degree, but might have had ripple effects from that decision that led into less than desirable outcomes. And that can make us unwell. It can make us imbalanced in mind, body, heart, and spirit. And that imbalance can be sent energetically from your threads to anybody else. When you just randomly get a thought of somebody, you're sending energy to that person. When someone else is having a random thought of you, they're sending energy back to you in whatever capacity they are in, coming back to you. That shield that I talk about, that protective shield, you can have that shield up, but if you have a crack in your shield where you are allowing all energy rather than the conducive energy, because you have set the intention to only allow the conducive energy for your growth and greater potential to occur, it all can seep in, even the negative energy. Okay, that's why we go through natural remedies of energy displacement, transmutation, transformation, psychic surgery, if you want to call it that, to remedy, send it out in a loving, conducive manner, because everything we send out comes back to us, and allow the universe to bring it back to us in a higher vibrational frequency for our greater potential and our greater purpose to come to the surface. Okay? Everything you experience is a training regimen. You may not feel like you are being trained, but you are being trained to fill the purpose that you originally came here to do. And it will unearth your innate gift that you brought with you once you sift through a good amount of the garbage that wasn't part of you, wasn't meant to stay with you. Okay? And I call it garbage, but at one point in time it wasn't garbage. It was a factor that helped you with either security, comfort, strength, love, a calmness, but it was a fleeting, meaning a temporary satisfaction, because it wasn't the genuineness. It was a role fill. Okay, just like an actor or actress on film filling a role or a character to produce a story, an aspect of the story through them to your observation. Okay, uh, but let's ask, how are you making your connections today? I'm not concerned, and you shouldn't be concerned with how you made your connections yesterday, because everything happens in the now, and yesterday has already gone. The only thing we can change is the energy that we assigned to yesterday. We can't change the actual experience of yesterday. But today, we can choose how we experience life, how we are making connections. Are you making connections absent-mindedly? Or are you making meaningful connections to support your growth, support your path that you are walking, to bring out your greater potential and bring to your awareness that which you have within you that's not serving you well? Uh, are you stuck in the past? Uh, things you might have done, people that you might have connected with that might not be here anymore in a physical form, and the identities that they held. Some of you might be having unresolved issues by having a oral disagreement in another dimension, whether it's the dreams, whether it's higher dimension, and where you're encountering that the spirit essence of the physical component that you had interacted with. That might be an area of unresolved work that they are bringing to your awareness, that you still have an attachment to an unresolved portion connected to them in some capacity. Remember, we release attachments and labels and brands, identities of those that we held within our thoughts, within our emotions, within our mindsets, for our greater good and their greater good. Okay? Just because they leave in physical form and transition into their astral form doesn't mean they're ever really gone. They're always connected to you. A scent comes through your nose, a sound comes through the radio, a show comes on that reminds you of that person. Are you celebrating the life that they spent that time, and they gave you the gift of time, of their presence? Or are you in sorrow and grievance because they no longer have the physical capacity to give you the physical time, even though they still are present? I am not as far as I know, I am not a psychic communicator with the presence of transitioned bodies. Probably because I closed it off at a young age, because everything I was seeing didn't fit into the social paradigm that was acceptable. And sometimes I beat myself up for doing that, because in some aspects it was part of survival. But drew me further away from my actual true self and my actual true spirit self. We often don the identities to fit the socially acceptable and lose our unique aspect and identity that we came with, because it didn't socially fit in the expectation of whatever culture you might have lived in. There's no shame. There's no guilt. You did what you needed to do to survive, but now, that's right, it's time to wake up. It's time to reconnect you to who you actually were all this time. You don't have to actually go out there and tell everybody what you see, what you experience. I'm not looking to make an autobiography, because the details don't matter. The path I walk and what I can bring to the world, the path is for me to bring my higher self out and reconnect to my actual true self and produce the gift that I came with. Through whatever mediumship works to help myself and you out there. So I will not speak on what I can see spiritually. It's okay if you're caught up in the why. It's okay if you want to know details. I'm not providing that information. It's not necessary. But I see beyond the clutter of garbage that we all carry. And I pierce through and see your actual light trying to shine through. So my position in life is to help you become brighter through self-work and growing through the dirt. If you don't want to do that, if you feel you're not ready for that, by all means. If you're afraid of the unknown because it's not known yet, there's work to be done. I will send courage your way. In fact, I am energetically speaking courage to you right now. I am energetically speaking to your true self. And when I say namaste, I'm speaking to your higher self within you, bypassing the carnal self. Implanting those seeds within you to nurture and grow, to bring your greater aspect out. Okay? As you last interacted with people, be cognizant that changes occur every day for every single person, place, thing, even animals and plants. Don't rush a process that's not meant to be rushed. Don't speed something up, because when you try to speed something up, you're taking it in your carnal thoughts, thinking that you can do greater than your higher self that actually knows what process to take to bring you to your higher self and bring you into alignment with higher well-being. Okay? This is where we say, ego, not today. You can rest. We're letting higher self drive the vehicle today. We are letting mindfulness drive the vehicle today. Okay? And the identities others had at some point in time that you might have remembered them. And this is going for those people that you don't see on a day-to-day basis, but maybe you hadn't seen for like 10 years. And you had the identity in your file cabinet of the last way they presented themselves. And when they showed up in your purview, your first reactionary mode might have been how you last saw them. But be mindful that every single day, people change. They change continuously. For those who aren't comfortable with change, you yourself are changing every single day. You're just probably not consciously aware of the subtle changes that are occurring within you. Okay? They might have gone and they might have gone through some of their own shadow work, peeling the layers of identities that wasn't theirs, but they presented themselves in that capacity at that time, and you might have picked up that identity, and now you might see them as they used to be, not who they are today. That doesn't say that you forgot what they did in the past, but that's forgiving them of what they had once been as, just as you would hope to be forgiven for the discrepancies that you may have displayed towards others. Okay? If you want to be forgiven for something, you have to render forgiveness to others. Okay? What you give out, you receive. When you hold unforgiveness within you, unforgiveness is attracting unforgiveness. So you're going to experience unforgiveness-like experiences. Okay? And this is for your own well-being. Forgiveness isn't because you are sending it out to them, exonerating others for how they've shown up in your life and what actions they took in your life experience. Forgiveness is to cultivate your own well-being within yourself, because they have to face that on their own, or with the help of other people to guide them to face that. Okay? You are detaching the unforgiveness thread that you had connected with that person. Okay? To make yourself become well. It's gradual. When we truly work on ourselves to become in alignment with our higher, truer selves in our connectedness and the interconnectedness of all things, all people, all places, plants and animals, can be a very gradual process, because it starts from the root and goes to the thing. Okay? Remember I said seeds are planted in your mind field, your mind soil, your heart soil, your physical soil, your energetic soil. Seeds are planted. So when that seed is planted, the seed grows into a root stem before it pops up with a leaf or a stem of a plant. And it can be favorable or unfavorable of a seed that was planted, that has grown and nurtured from nurturing continuously. Whether you nurtured it or someone else nurtured it, it was continuing to nurture. That's why I say we go to the root cause of it and uproot the plant that does not serve us. Okay? But it can be a gradual, and sometimes you may experience a physical instantaneous thing. If you are arguing with somebody in the moment, you are matching a vibration. They are going to match a vibrational frequency that you are at, because it's in the capacity of which you are speaking that you may be more receptive to in the moment. This is why I say, when you have something to say, be mindful of your words and the actions, the emotions, and the thoughts that you are producing all at the same time, because what you send out can be reflected instantaneously in front of the other person. Because, like I said, people are mirrors. They will reflect the same vibration, energy, and frequency that you are producing. If you are producing, say that they are producing a erratic frequency vibration as they're presenting something before you, and you are presenting a calm mind and a neutrality and observing from an objective perspective, the energy will be transmuting in the moment. They may not be aware of it. It's completely okay. They may not be aware of how they are producing themselves before you. And maybe they feel like they don't need to police themselves. That's actually ego. Because ego likes patterns, and it operates off of pattern behavior. Okay? Unresolved issues. Be gentle. Be patient. Be kind. Because sometimes your gradual change that you have within you will be a gradual change in your experience. Okay? Trust the process, but be patient. Okay? Patience is stemmed from love. Alright? But how are you showing up today? In every second of your day, have you set a good intention for your day? And are you bringing your awareness back to that attention? Or the attention of your awareness back to that intention when something else might come in to try to disrupt that intention? Are you allowing it to float on by and readdress it at a later time in a calm mind, but maintaining your intention that you had set for the day of a greater vibration? Or are you letting anything come in and detract you from that greater vibration that you have set for yourself? And letting it knock down, for a proverbial word, your pillar that's seated on that foundation of intention. You have the power to choose what you accept and what you reject. You also have the power to change how you experience things in the world, how you experience interactions with other people, and yourself as well. Everything is temporary. There is nothing permanent other than the aspect of your higher self. The body, the carbon copy, the carnal self, is temporary. It lives, it's utilized for a certain duration, however long that duration is, it serves its purpose in the third dimension. When its purpose has been fulfilled, or the body has exceeded its capacity, the astral body, the spirit body, transitions out of the third dimensional body, and the body is left in the third dimension because it's a physical component in the third dimension. We came in as a spirit into a cell structure, from a thought and emotion to a physical representation of a small single cell that became reproduced greater and greater and greater, and those cells came together to form, that's right, human life. Human life introduced into the world of third dimension, grown into third dimension. But how are you seeing people today? How are you seeing places that might trigger a memory? A scent that might trigger a memory? Things that you might have held on to past their expiration date, that's not serving you well. Letting go of the past attachments does not sever your connected thread to the person's essence, true self. It doesn't sever the experiences. It doesn't erase their existence. They still exist. They just don't exist in a physical form past that transition. Okay? How many of you have felt the loss and the heaviness of a loved one whether it was an explainable or unexplainable transition. How many days have you given your energy to grievance and sorrow? Are you still in grievance and sorrow? Are you celebrating the gift of time they had given you while they were in physical form? Loving you in a physical way, as well as emotional, as well as mentally. And everyone has their challenges. So it might not have all been love. It might not have all been representation of what you define love as. But just like I have self-work, and just like you have self-work, they had self-work. And some of that self-work might have been resolved. The purpose that they fulfilled might have been fulfilled. A lot of times people don't want to know when their life experience comes to a transition. They like to be unknown of that. Because if they were to tell somebody that and it didn't happen in the time format that they were conditioned to accept it as, there would be greater discord rather than the temporary emotion of physical separation, detachment. And they wouldn't be able to move on to the celebration of the gift of time that they had given. Time that you give to people, whether it's at work or at home or a stranger on the street, is a gift. It's not something that should be used as a requirement or an expectation of. The choice to use one's time in the way that they see fit is a gift. That doesn't mean that the time they spent with you would have been all rainbows or sunshine. But looking at a broader perspective and observation of a higher mind, even though it might have had an unfavorable occurrence or experience at the time, they gave you a gift of their time in physical format. Okay. But we're connected way beyond the physical. We're connected emotionally, we're connected psychically, we're connected energetically, vibrationally. We vibrate at a certain frequency. Okay. We have a neutrality, which is our calm frequency. We also have a frequency where we drop down in lesser than ideal experiences of emotions, in thoughts, beliefs, conditions that have been thrusted upon us or that we have had deduced from the unfavorable experiences. And we have higher frequency in which we exude, we produce higher love capacity. Even when everyone else in the room might be showing a discourtesy, you have the power to show a courtesy of love to that person, whether it's with your thoughts, whether it's with your emotion, whether it's a word of statement of higher vibration. Just because everyone else is doing something doesn't make it an acceptable format or behavior. That's where you have the power to make a change. By something you see within yourself, you see an aspect, and in that moment, you can change an aspect of within you, because whatever you're experiencing out there, there's some aspect in you that it's bringing to your awareness that you have within you. When you make the change within you, how you respond to that, and instead of joining with the group, but rather taking a higher perspective and a higher energetic vibe, love conquers everything of a lower frequency. Every single thing. And it's not just your words of love, it's your actions of an unconditional, unmerited, unmeasured love that makes no sense. It defies logic. It defies reasoning. Because the capacity of love transcends understanding to the simple carnal mind. Practice appreciation and gratitude for the time that people have spent with you. Those who are still in physical form and those who have transitioned out of physical form. You can still send transmuted energy of higher vibration, of the experiences that you have experienced with that person that you felt might have been unresolved, historically, from the now. That's where you have the power to break generational curses. That's where you have the power to transmute karmic strings, those that you have created karma of, both favorable and unfavorable, and those that your ancestral line has created that has been passed down through genetic DNA, genetic vibration, genetic energy, genetic emotion, genetic thought field that has come through you. You have the power to break the cycle. How you produce yourself is the key. When it comes to your awareness, that you see something in your experience and it's bringing to your awareness, you have the power to break that cycle to a higher vibration and how you respond to it. And how you respond to it goes down every one of those threads worldwide. Believe me or not, this I'm bringing it to you as it was brought to my higher mind's awareness in a dreamscape. I am not one to validate, challenge, or discredit, because I know my carnal mind will try to make sense of something that has no capacity to make sense of it in its operating understanding, because everything that was perceived was past, present, and future connections, and it has no power over the now, and the only thing it can do is produce a like attraction that is whatever already is within us to be produced into our experience to come. But again, the future is not yet written. So if we are seeing something in future accordance, that means we have been given the opportunity to transmute that occurrence into a higher vibration of experience before it comes to a physical experience. Every gift given out is received back in some energetic form. Sometimes favorable experience, if it's a favorable gift that you send out. Sometimes an unfavorable experience if it's an unfavorable gift you send out. Your gifts are coming from your thoughts, your gifts are coming from your emotions, your gifts are coming from your words, the way you see things, the way you receive things, people, experiences, how you hold a belief or a thought or idea of the experience is being sent out as a gift. And it's going to return, because what you send out always comes back. You do not have to accept every gift that comes your way. Sometimes people will give gifts in a capacity of excusable behavior. And the energy of that excusable behavior is attached to that gift. Whether it's through their words, whether it's thoughts, emotions, or physical representation. That's why I say that if you get a gift from somebody, you might not know what state of being or mind or thought or emotion that they were in when they gave that to you, or it came to you, whether it went through the mail or direct exchange. You're not rejecting the hospitality, you're just cleansing any of the energy that is negative or of a lower vibration that you don't want to take in and absorb. Same thing with words. You can choose to not accept the energy of the words that are being used, or the thoughts that are being produced, or the behaviors that are being produced towards you in some capacity. If you receive a food, like when I eat food, I'm like this with my hands, not because I am concerned about how I prepared the food, if it's my own food, or how someone else prepared the food. I'm doing this because the state of mind that I am in, I want to make sure that the clear intention is to remove any negative energy produced in the moment of making this meal, or someone else making the meal that has brought it to my table. Okay? Second, I give thanks, appreciation, and gratitude for all persons, places, things that were placed in position to bring that sustenance to my table for me to consume for my vitality and life sustenance. That includes the animals that were used to bring a protein source, the plants used to bring a high vibrational source, fruit, vegetables, etc. I give thanks to the energy and the life force energy in those things to continue to add to my sustenance and my life force energy. Okay? And then I send a blessing of good intention, of wellness in every aspect of their lives down those soul threads, because I know that I don't know what life experiences they face, but I want to give them something in exchange for showing up to work and filling a position to make it happen to where food is on my table, or a drink is on my table, or a physical gift I could order that came to my house to help them endure and grow through whatever life experience they are experiencing. When I send a blessing out, sometimes it's healing, sometimes it's comfort, sometimes it's joy, sometimes it's strength, courage, security, a sense of peace and tranquility, a high vibration of love, light, confidence. Sometimes it's just an overall well-being to incorporate all of these things. And I trust the universe to flow it down the threads to all persons in position that made such things occur. I also do that every morning in my intention to every single soul thread that I am connected to, of those that I am aware of and those that I am unaware of, that I just see a glowing body and not a face. to send the same blessings out to you. And I know that it goes. I don't have to believe that it goes, because I already have the knowing that it goes with the intention. Sometimes it will come back in somebody commenting or stating. Sometimes it will be a gentle whisper in the wind that refuels me energetically with confidence and enlightenment. As you give, so you shall receive. What you give out, you receive. Okay. This goes along with karma, also the golden rule of treat others as you want to be treated. Treat yourself as you want other people to treat yourself. And the change out there will reflect the change that you see yourself as within you. Okay? Be mindful of the energy you are sending out. Be mindful of the energy and thoughts, the rendering perceptions that you are holding of experiences that come into your field of view. Maybe it's bringing something to your awareness of an aspect for growth within you. Maybe it's bringing an opportunity for you to express a greater emotion, a greater vibration that only you can produce for what has come into your field of view, whether it's someone homeless on the side of the street. I'm not saying you have to give all your money to the person, but your vibration of love far exceeds the vibration of physical money giving to them. Your love extended to them without a condition met to is a growth, is a planting of seed in their soil to grow and nurture and bring them up into their own alignment and grow through their dirt. People are always watching you. So how you treat other people are taking in that information, and you're connecting unknowingly soul threads to those who observe how you behave, how you act, how you speak, what you speak, the tone that you use, what verdicts you render, what judgments you speak, what limiting beliefs are made aloud, is all flowing, is all connecting those new strands. Even when you think no one is watching, even when you think no one's in your physical purview, those soul threads, they're not physical unless you develop the inner sight to see the soul threads that are luminescent, and some of them are colorful threads flowing with amazing love and vibration that I could probably not even put into words. We have the power to encourage and give strength. We also have the power to discourage and destroy someone. We have the power to destroy ourselves just by the thoughts, the emotions, the words we speak, the sights and perceptions that we absorb, and the rendering judgments, the rendering beliefs, the labels, the less than favorable actions to make our own selves unwell. And we forget about it, and it shows up in a physical way because we kept ignoring it. We kept ignoring all of the signs, and we were looking for some visceral sign to tell us something, and it's always been around us this whole time. We just didn't utilize the actual sign that it came in the format of. Remember, things come into our experiences with unexpectedness. So when we try to expect something, it may not show up the way that we were expecting, but still holds that signature, that vibration, that frequency. So be the person that you desire your highest self to be in your lifetime, for the benefit of your own wellness in yourself, in the benefit of the continuity of those around you and the extended threads beyond them. And allow your cocoon the opportunity in gradual time to manifest into transformation of a beautiful butterfly. I love you guys. This is about a 2-hour video. Like I said, take your break if you need to. Drink some water, have a snack, go for a walk, whatever you need to. The information flew, and I put it down, and here you are. I appreciate and I give thanks and gratitude to every single one of you in the positions that you are in to bring to the capacity of the greater well-being of every individual in this life. Every circumstance, every thought, every emotion, every animal that has come to greet you with affection and attention, give thanks. I love you guys. Be well, be well, be well.